Hi class, so today's topic is on content strategy, and I decided to talk to Ms. April Wood, Vice President of Communications of Hampton University, which is also my alma mater. So the first question that the Vice President might ask is, what is content strategy? And the discipline of content strategy, which is one of our readings, defines content strategy as plans for the creation, publications, and governance of usable content. And these content strategies define even further through key themes and messages, recommended topics, content purpose, content gap analysis, metadata frameworks, and related content attributes, and SEO, which stands for Search Engine Optimization. So exactly what is content? Content is everything. And when we're working with content strategy, there's two questions that a client should ask their content strategist. What is content, and what would make it more meaningful? To approach content governance, there are four phases. The request phase, which is understanding the education, purpose, resource, and success criteria for content. The create phase, which is determine access and workflow for content. Manage phase, understand ownership and review cycles. And the retire phase is act on thresholds established during the request stage. And so in talking to the Vice President of Communication, we would go through each stage and elaborate more on why we use this phase, how it would work for them in their content and their website, and the impact that it would have. So the first stage is the request phase, and it's broken down into subcategories of ownership. And without ownership information, it will not be possible to track and manage any of the content. And in order to get the ownership information, an example that the Minimalist Approach blog gave was to apply metadata that indicates the owner and department that has responsibility for the specific content. And this is to make it possible to keep the content system running native reports against the metadata so that we know exactly who's doing what content. And the next part of the request phase is the business purpose, and it's to use a simple outline form to collect and workflow the request to management. And to do this, you use a simple outline, like I said, and the impact is to minimize the amount of user-generated content that is of low value to the organization. So we want to, when we're doing a website, we want content that's meaningful for the user, and that they can understand, and that's more valuable to our client and for those that's going to visit the website. In the next phase, we have the prerequisite education resources needed. We want to know the background of those that are going to be working on the site. It's good to have an outline of resources needed, the skill set and the duration, and a request from those working on the project, their commitment and their educational background. And their success criteria, and this is to determine if the project and respected content should continue to exist if it does not meet intended goal. And that means to just keep looking at the content to see if it's necessary to still have on the website, and that at one point it should be good to set a point to review each content. And the next phase is the create phase, is determine access. Who exactly is going to have access to what specific content? And this is to manage each part of the content on the website easier, so two people aren't handling the content and then it gets confusing. So it's good to create metadata folders so that users can access specific content. It's good for them to find information easier, and controls what users can change and only expose what they need to do their work. And the manage phase is to update content ownership, and to do this on a quarterly basis. Without updating content, it ruins the content governance. Nobody wants to see old content on the website that's outdated. You can make sure that each of the content is new and different by running reports on the metadata, and this keeps the content current. And that is all of my presentation. Manage and retire phase, I think, can just go into one. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you. Bye.